Rock and roll. Hey, everybody, it's Nicole Bonner with Thrive. And now my colleague, Dr. Colton O'Brien.
What's up, everybody?
What's going on, Colton?
Oh, just living the dream. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Same. We had a crazy week this week, and my voice is losing a little bit of my voice. It was pretty nuts, but we're not here to talk about me. We're here to talk about you. You had a very productive week this week. What you been working on?
What have I been working on? A few things. Just it kind of feels like I'm working on a lot of things at once and making a little bit of progress on a lot of things is kind of what it feels like. So like looking back, it's a lot of similar stuff that I have been working on, but the beginning of my week was like I think Monday and Tuesday I spent like totally just like working on my website, which has been like a fun creative experience, and also a frustrating experience at times. I was having trouble with getting money transferred over from my personal account to my business account, so I spent a lot of time opening my bank account and getting funds transferred over. And today everything got transferred over, so now I'm about to start making some business purchases, which is exciting. So that's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, getting business cards. Then I went to my BNI again as a visitor, and now I'm gonna sign up for it. But just another opportunity to get my name out and get in the community and start marketing. Last week I was pretty disappointed in the way that I spoke. I mean, but it's okay. At least I did it anyway. So I I stood up and I spoke, but it did not come out as I prepared or as I wanted it to.
Got
And then
it.
this week I talked to a buddy about it. He kept sending me reminders every day. Hey, work on your commercial. Work on your commercial. So like twice a day, I would just spend 60 seconds to work on my pitch. I was just like talking about what I do, who I am, who I love to see, who I love to take care of, like where we're at. And so yesterday I went in and I stood up at BNI and spoke to about 20 people, and it just came across so powerful, so clear, and it just felt really good.
Right.
Um, yeah, that and I've been making get my name out there on social media and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of been. Let's see if there's anything else.
Well, that's
Yeah.
a you got a lot of stuff done. I was just saying earlier, we did our Facebook Live today, our Friday Thrive Live, and we were just talking about, the principle of time. And the chiropractic principle of time doesn't only apply to giving your body time to heal, but it applies to everything in life. And I was saying that sometimes, especially as very driven people as we are, sometimes it feels like our successes is like watching paint dry. And but
That's true.
you right? Isn't it true?
It's so true.
But if you really just take a moment to stop, take a breath, and really reflect on what you actually got done in this past week, in this past month, in this past year, you would actually realize that you created a lot over a very short period of time. And so Kelly, who I
Mm.
adore, she always says like you're always busting through the ceiling. That's what she said to me. You're always busting through the glass ceiling. And I'm like, really? You think? Because I feel like that. In fact, I always feel like I'm in like reverse, right? And she's like, no, you're always busting through that glass ceiling. So, one of the things that I want to continue to remind you to continue to do is make sure that you're taking time to reflect and be proud of all the stuff that you have accomplished in a very short amount of time. And that's going to really allow you to it's really going to help you to feel the feeling of gratitude.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think I kind of needed to hear that today because just kind of with my personality, I can be hard on myself and not feel like I'm not doing enough, even when I am, I'm doing my best, So I think that was important to hear. And then also, like, it made me think of a conversation I was having the other day. We were talking about building, like building something great, like building a practice, building whatever it is. And like, I have been kind of like switching the word from build to more of like cultivate. in a sense, like cultivating a garden. Like there's a lot of things we can do by like just sheer force, but there's also a lot we can do by like tender care and patience as well. And so like as I'm building, I'm also trying to like cultivate and like keep my sanity, keep my peace, as well as build something beautiful and not just like rush something to get it done.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's a fine line because we were talking about also how you did your first talk last week, and first of all, I'm sure I was not there, but I'm sure you blew the doors off of your talk. And you're just really being hard on yourself. Like you had made a comment that when you were looking back on it, you felt like there were things that could have got better. And I think another big life lesson here is that done is better than perfect.
I like
Done
that.
is better than perfect. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It has to get done. And the biggest thing that's going to help you is momentum. Momentum, momentum, momentum. That's why, you know, I've stressed this a lot, and sometimes I feel like this like nagging coach when I do, but that's why I get on you guys about, okay, if your goal date to open is, let's say January 1st is your goal date to open, I get on you guys really hard about starting your marketing and your PR at least 8 weeks ahead of time, because you're going to have to do your talks like a couple of times. As you already found, you're going to have to do those talks a couple of times until you feel like it's perfected. But every talk that you do, every screening that you do, every BNI that you do, every chamber of commerce that you do, every dinner with the doc that you do, what that is you're doing massive action. Tony Robbins calls it taking massive action to build momentum, and that's building energy. I don't care if it's a good talk or a bad talk. I could care less really if it's great, or if it's the worst talk you've ever done. It doesn't matter. It's building momentum, and Colton, that's what pushes the practice. Instead of like pulling a cart uphill, momentum pushes the practice, so it becomes effortless.
Mm, yeah, I
So I'm
like that.
so
That's really good. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So, dude, how did you learn how to build? So this like amazes me because I'm not computer savvy at all. You guys know this about me. So how the heck did you know how to build a website?
Well, I wouldn't call myself computer savvy either. Like, I mean, I guess growing up, like my generation, we are like kind of like the first generation with like growing up with smartphones and technology. So like, I'm decently versed, but I'm not well versed by any means. So essentially, I ask around like I always do, and some of my friends were like, "Hey, Squarespace is a great place to do that." So before I did that, I made a Google domain. So I went on like Google Business or something like that, set up a Google domain. I think it's trinitylifecairo.com. Then I set up Dr. O'Brien at Trinity Life Cairo as my email through Google, and like all the Google Drive and all that stuff. And so then I went and bought Squarespace, and then I put my domain name in Squarespace and then started to build my website. And to be honest with you, I have like a lot of, I have what my vision is for my practice, but like I also am not trying to reinvent the wheel. I looked up a bunch of like chiropractors online, and friends that are chiropractors, and people that I look up to, and just like looked through their website and like saw how like what were some important things to hit on. So I got some inspiration from them, but then also put my own unique touch on it too. So it was very frustrating. The first like few days, like I felt like I didn't know how to work it, couldn't figure anything out. But just like anything in life, like the more you do it, the easier it gets. So I kept playing with it, kept tinkering with it, and kept playing with my. I got the format down first, and then I refined my wording. Um, so yeah, that's been fun, and it's definitely not finished or perfected, but I don't know if it ever will be. But like you said, it's out there now, so that's
Mhm.
that's the first step.
Amen. It is the first step. It is a giant step. And I'll tell you, like, with our website, we're always changing our website. Like we're getting updated pictures, updated videos, testimonials. We're doing this, we're doing that, we're making it more user friendly for our patients, we're making it more automated. So yeah, it's always a work in progress for sure.
How
for
was your
sure.
website built?
Hmm. I hired somebody to do
Nice.
it.
Do you know what they used? Like, mm,
I don't.
yeah.
I I don't, but, like, that's how I mean, I'm, like, proud of myself right now for getting on this Zoom call and be able to do this podcast with you.
I'm proud of you too. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Thank you. You know, one of the things that you said that, like, that hit home just a minute ago is you said, "I'm not looking to reinvent the wheel." And I love that. I think that that's smart. I've always been like that. Ever since this kind of goes back to coaching, but if you think of every single hugely successful person on the planet, they all have some kind of coach or mentor, right? I
Mhm.
mean, every football player, every baseball player, every musician, they have a coach, right? And I always felt like that. I mean, I had a coach in chiropractic from the time I was a student. When I was a student, just like you, I hired a coach that had a student coaching program, and then after that, got out, opened my practice, and just hired coaches all the way through. And quite honestly, what I did was I just picked people exactly what you did with your website. Is I really just picked people that I don't maybe like that, not so much that I wanted to emulate, but people that were already doing the things that I wanted to do. Like I
Mm.
knew I had a vision, I didn't know how to do it, right? I didn't have the
Yeah.
skills, I didn't have the tools, I didn't have the mindset, I didn't have the system, but I had the vision. So I just picked people that already were doing my vision, and I hired them to coach me, to teach me. And I don't know if it's like I'm certainly not the sharpest tool in the shed. And I don't know if it's laziness. It could be part laziness. But I'd be like, all right, coach, just tell me what to do. And they'd be like, okay, here, do this. And I did it and it freaking worked.
Oh, yeah. That's been, like, the
And
biggest blessing with this. It's just, like, sorry, yeah, just I feel like I'm a visionary in a lot of ways, and I know what I want, but, like, okay, how do I climb the ladder? What's this next rung that I grab? And that's the hard part for me is putting it all into, like, a formulated way to get things done, and that's why Thrive has been so instrumental in just in this process so far, and I know it will continue to be.
awesome. Yeah, thank you for saying that. I appreciate that, Colton. And I appreciate your support. It was really cool. What's today? Today's Friday. Thursday, I was just finishing up dinner and I got a text from one of our other clients who's in the same position as you. She just found space, like literally built out her whole practice. She hasn't even opened officially. Like she hasn't even officially like opened. And she just started doing like a little bit of PR, connecting with people that she knew or people that she was taking care of in the past. And she sent me her collections day from yesterday and she collected over $2,000.
Wow,
And she's not even open yet,
that's so cool.
and like I just it was so cool. And then she had texted after that something about I'm gonna paraphrase, but basically her text was like, um, I was a little nervous at first asking for money. She goes, and then I just centered myself and just realized that um like just calmed myself and just realized that I was providing an exceptional experience for my folks and it was
Absolutely.
all good. And then yeah, and she sold like a care plan of over $2,000, and she goes, and it was so easy.
Hmm.
It was so easy, and I just like sometimes I like crack up inside because like total transparency, our jumpstart program, which is what she went through, is like 3,800. She's not even open. She made back half the program in a day.
Wow, that's amazing.
I know. So I kind of chuckle sometimes when people are like, "Oh, I can't afford to do it," and I'm like, that mindset alone, like, and it doesn't have to be for my program. I'm not, you don't have to do my program. It could be. I'm talking about any program on the planet. But if you're in a mindset where you're like, I can't afford blank, I can't afford a coach, I can't afford a space, I can't afford whatever it is, guess what's going to happen when you sit down and you present that financial to that patient? Guess what you're going to hear?
Mm,
I can't afford it, right? Why?
mm.
Because that's what you're putting out into the universe, right? So
Yeah,
someone
wow.
told me that. Yeah, one of my coaches told me that, or mentor, I forget even where I heard it, but I heard that years ago when I was in chiropractic school, and I always remembered that. I always remembered that. So like, did I always say yes to everything? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. You know, you have to be very selective what you say yes to. But if I said no to something, it wasn't because I said, "Oh, I can't afford it."
Mm,
It was maybe because I didn't have confidence in the trainer or the coach, or maybe it wasn't the direction I wanted to go in with my practice. But I never said in my head I can't afford it, because I knew that if I did, then I would attract that back to me.
wow. That's yeah, that's profound. I really that really struck a chord with me. And I'm just thinking back on like just the little conversations or little dialogues in my head or with Liz or whoever whenever I say like, "Oh, I can't," or something like that, and it's inspiring me to kind of switch my vocabulary up and then my perspective as well.
Yeah. And that's true. You know, you had mentioned in your conversations with Liz, it's true in every facet of our life. So it might even be like that dream car that you want. You know, like you see that dream car and like you have this conversation with your spouse and you're like, "Babe, I love this car, but we can't afford it." No, like that conversation has to change. You know,
Mm,
can afford it, and that is going to manifest. That is manifesting in our life, right? I can afford it, and that is manifesting in our life, you know? And then you take a picture of that car and you put it on your vision board.
mm.
Do you ever do a vision board?
I've never done a vision board, but I do like vision casting, and like in the Bible it talks about like pray, like when you pray, like pray as if you've received already. Like that's like so potent to me. It's like unless you're in the state to receive what you're praying for, then like how can you expect for it to come?
Yeah.
I like also. Have you ever read the book Atomic Habits?
Oh my God, that's so crazy. Wait, I gotta show you something.
Okay.
Wait, wait. All right. Don't look at all my. This is my journal, right? And
Yeah.
there's people's names on here, so I don't want to like show you all this, but like, what does it
It-
say?
Atomic Habits. I love it. That's awesome. Like I have it on audiobook, and I've listened to like half of it. I haven't finished it, but my buddy just started it, so we were talking about it. My buddy Grant, and
Oh, I know Grant.
yeah, Grant. We were talking like Tony Robbins. There's a Tony Robbins seminar going on right now, and him and I have been watching it a little bit. And he talks about like be careful what you say after I am, because like ultimately that's what you become. But anyway, to speak to Atomic Habits, I think chapter 2, Grant was talking to me about it today. It talks about like instead of like we always set like these goals to become something, but like our our goals are determined by our daily systems. And so like what he was talking about is like you don't just say I want to become a runner so I can run this marathon. Like becoming a runner is the daily practice of running. And so like becoming a successful chiropractor isn't whenever you reach this many patients or this many this much in collections. It's about like how like you operate through the world and like the energy you bring, the attitude you bring, and the like abundant mindset that you carry as you're just going through your day-to-day life. So I thought that was really potent, and it resonated with what you were just talking about. So I think that's really cool.
Awesome. That is awesome. Shoot, Colton, now I have to absolutely get that book, because I was supposed to get it last week and I didn't do it.
I should have said
Notice it
spoiler
notice
alert.
it notice it wasn't crossed off in my.
That's okay. And that's the cool thing is also that like with to-do lists and all that, there's also grace, just like we were just talking about. So like you know you got so much done this last week, but maybe you missed that, but there's grace for that, and there's time to still do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a little section in my journal that says, "What will I do better?" That was one of them. for sure. Awesome. So I wanted to go back really quick to your website. We're kind of running out of time, but
Oh,
time
yeah.
flies when you're having fun.
We
And
always do.
I know every week we like run out of time. Um, but oh shoot, I wanted to read this because you and I in the Jumpstart program, and when we were like discussing marketing and creating an avatar, we had said you want to speak when you're doing your marketing, creating your website, whatever it may be, you want to speak directly to that person,
Hmm.
right? So, um, one of my friend Corey Oldman. I don't know if you have you ever heard. Do you know Corey Oldman? He's a
I don't think
chiropractor.
so. I'll have to look him up.
Yeah, friend him on Facebook. And he actually transitioned out of practice. I don't think he practices anymore. I don't think. I don't want to misspeak, but he does a lot of digital marketing now for chiropractors and I think for other entrepreneurs. And he put a post, and I love his post. Are you ready for this?
Hmm.
A highly compelling sales message would do two things. Number one, sound like a saving grace to your ideal customer. Number two, act as a repellent to your non-customer.
Mm.
Talk about polarizing.
Yeah. Wow.
And this I really got to see this mindset, in firsthand when COVID hit. And I'm not telling you to do this, I'm just telling you my experience. But when COVID hit, my feathers were like a little bit ruffled about like everything that was happening in the world and the lies that were being told and the brainwashing that was happening. And I was pretty outspoken about it. And I did multiple like podcasts and social media and webinars and Zoom webinars where I would have like a ton of patients on there and their guests and their friends and it ranged from people. The response ranged from anything from people like, oh my god, thank you so much as a doctor, as a as a person who has studied biology, who has a degree in biology, thank you so much for coming forward and explaining this to us and sharing your wisdom, to the opposite extreme where people were like, you should be ashamed of yourself and I hope you die. Like literally I got
Mm.
death threats during that time. And my practice grew like leaps and bounds because I really did repel like the people that were just like not down with my message. They like literally fled like geese, you know? And then and then the people that resonated with my message like came out of the freaking woodwork. And it was like just so it was such a natural conversion from the new patient into a practice member. It was seamless. So when you were creating your website, were you thinking about that when you were creating your website? Did that play a role in what you actually put onto your website and your verbiage and things like that?
Yeah, most definitely. I'm still like refining my message daily as I evolve as a chiropractor. But yeah, like my main thing is like the very first thing you see when you open my website is family wellness chiropractor, and I like just want that to be like so clear. And then right underneath that it says our approach, like specifically tailored nervous system based chiropractic. And so like I love back pain Bob and everything, but like I'm not trying to have like a super big like back pain clinic. Like I will serve those people and I'll take care of them to the best of my abilities, but like that's not my ideal client. My ideal client is someone that is like, doesn't feel at home in their body, struggling with like chronic stress, anxiety, depression, things of that nature. And then like as I'm developing my message, I'm also realizing like being a family wellness chiropractic changed my life from like my like ADHD mind and like my like just jumbled thoughts and focus. I'm like, man, if I could serve even a younger population, like I don't necessarily know if I'll take care of babies, but like adolescents and children and like really help them like take control of their lives and not have to feel the way that I felt. Like that's gonna start being in my messaging too. So like kind of like I feel like a little tug of war between this and that, but like I don't think it has to be this or that. I think it can be a little bit of both, but I just got to be very direct in my messaging. But
Yeah,
the message is wellness, nervous system based care. Like that's what it is. And then my avatar is that family unit, and the family includes the mom, the kids, and then the dad.
awesome. And that makes sense because just knowing you on a personal level, your top core value for your family, of course,
Hmm.
you know. So that makes a lot of sense. Just that's just part of like making your practice authentic to who you are is having your practice world like totally congruent with your non-practice world. That's
Mm.
what I think creates peace.
I think so too. I went and got adjusted by a friend and mentor of mine the other day, and he's like, "You'll notice like this is a practice. Like chiropractic is a practice of like your life. Like your practice reflects your life." And he's like, "So as long as you're operating and living in congruency, like this can be fun. This is just an extension of you. It isn't a separate part of your life. It is your life." So I was like, "That's really cool." So it's like not work, go home, disassociate, but like live it. Like that's the cool thing about chiropractors. Like we're chiropractors all the time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're not just a chiropractor Monday through Friday.
Right? And what I don't want to be. I don't want to be just one. It's so cool. It's such a blessing to be a chiropractor and being outside, being out of school. Like I miss like the chiro community. That's why it's so great to be in like coaching groups where we get to talk about chiropractic all the time, and then like still have like the close knit bonds of like my friends and brothers and like the chiropractic fraternity and all that to bounce ideas off of. Because like chiropractors are special people, and like it's cool to realize that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Speaking of community, can I ask you to do me a favor?
Absolutely.
Will you, when you think about it, will you try like be active in our group? Our group is called Turning Students and Chiropractors into Business Owners.
Hmm.
So if you like just come up with a question, and like if you're going along your day and you're like, shoot, how do I do this? Post it in the group. And then this way, like not only myself, but there are other chiropractors in that group that are highly successful in practice for decades. And I'm trying to get like even other chiropractors from all over the globe to contribute to students and to new doctors.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Sweet. Yeah, I'm in the page. I need to be more active in my posting.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. All right, man. Well, guess what? That is our time today for our podcast. Isn't it crazy? It goes by
It
fast.
is. Yeah, I'm having fun today.
Thank you so much for playing with me today, Colton.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thank you for creating the space and just allowing it to be what it is.
Thanks for listening to Thrive in Chiropractic with your host for today, Dr. Nicole Bonner and Dr. Colton O'Brien. We hope you enjoyed our deep dive into all the tips and tricks you can use to build your practice. If you're keen to follow more stories of students and chiropractors becoming practice owners, you can as always, you can head over to our Facebook group, Turning Students and Chiropractors into Business Owners, and become a part of a community of emerging chiropractic entrepreneurs. All right, that's all for this episode, folks. See you next time. If you'd like to find out more about any of the programs Thrive offers, visit our website at thrivechirocoaching.com to join my email list and find extra resources and info.